Brian Powell of YiOu Run Far here with YiOu Wang after a win at the 2019 TNF 50. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Brian. That was awesome.
Awesome, may I dare guess painful?
50 miles always hurts, regardless of how well you finish and how good you're feeling. It's painful at the end, that's for sure.
Well, you now definitely have secured yourself as like someone who can nail 50 miles.
Thank you.
You're phenomenal at it.
I'll just stick to that for a little while for our pre-race conversation.
Well, we can go with it. We can get into that in a minute. But your race, the women's race, went out
bonkers.
Really, yeah. Were you part of that, or who was the Miss Pace setter?
It was interesting because everyone has different strengths when it comes to trail running, and some people are better climbers, some people are better descenders, and I think this course lends itself to a lot of back and forth because you have long climbs and you have long descents, and I think at the start, it starts with a pretty good climb up until you get to the top of the ridge, and then you have a long descent down Rodeo Valley. And there was a group of us. It's also hard to tell because it's so dark and early. There's probably 5 or 6 of us all together at the top. And then once we started descending down Rodeo Valley, just Claire Gallagher is just like kamikazeing, awesome Claire style down Rodeo Valley. And then a bunch of women followed her. But I'm not a great downhill, super fast descender. And I think part of the tricky part of this race is that it is tempting when it's dark and cool in the morning to run really fast, especially going down Rodeo Valley because we're so excited and fresh. So I kind of held back from that group, and I figured I would bridge up again on the climbs, and I did bridge up to kind of the lead group of women going up Bobcat, which we go up the first time, and then we go down Rodeo Valley again. And I think people were a little bit more controlled descending Rodeo Valley, and I think Claire did end up falling early on in the race. She had like dirt prints on her butt, so looked like she was okay though. Yeah, she was okay and back up running. And then climbing up Miwok, so again, a group of women went out in front of me and stayed, I don't know, maybe 15 seconds in front of me, going down Rodeo Valley. And then we started climbing up Miwok, and I bridged up to that group and got in front of them. And then Addie came with me and Anna May. And so like the 3 of us were just climbing a bit faster, going up Miwok. And then coming down Marancello, Addie and Anna May really put the jets on, and so did Abby Hall. There's too many Abbies. And I just ran like what I thought was reasonable without letting them get too far away, because I know all the trails. I know like as soon as we hit coastal, it's going to be another grinder
and
uphill.
You'll make up some time.
Yeah, and then I caught up. I passed Abby coming out of Tennessee Valley, and then I caught back up to Anime and to Addie climbing up coastal, and then again they got ahead of me going down coastal, and then on
so
Redwood
you can
Creek,
rationalize that, like that they're going ahead on the descents and you can catch back up, but does it also take an emotional or like a mental toll?
Well, one of the things I was doing was kind of like listening to everybody's effort, and I just felt like everyone was running so hard going downhill. Like I was trying to just breathe through my nose going downhill, and I'm like, I'm running 6:15, 6:20 pace downhill, and I'm not working nearly as hard as everyone else. And this course is so runnable that like you don't want to be working that hard even on a descent. Like, okay, you get 15 seconds per mile, like you might be running 6-minute pace, but like that's gonna really come back to bite you.
So rather than letting that get to you and bother you, you're mentally banging that as like, I've got a mile easier running when
like,
they're...
I'm just chilling on the downhill
And you know they're not.
Yeah, because you can hear them breathing. And then after doing the climb up coastal, we get on this Redwood Creek, And I moved in front of Anna Mae because she sounded like she was working maybe a bit hard at that point. And I could see Addie in front of me, and so I just like gradually caught her on the climb. And then we were pretty much together going up through Cardiac. But I felt like I was climbing a bit better just based on effort level. And all those climbs just feel so familiar. Like I know what to expect, where to expend more effort.
I mean, you literally know which side of the trail is rutted.
Exactly. Well, I haven't done that climb in a long time because that's a horribly long douche grade climb. But you know, that kind of grade, like I think suits runners such as myself and Addie because we can run them really well. And then coming out of Cardiac, at that point, I felt like I was running strong and controlled and not like redlining anything. I just wanted to keep my legs moving, feel like I was staying at a good pace. And I thought that Addie would catch me going down Matt Davis because I'm not great on the technical descent down into Stinson. And she was right behind me going through Stinson. Like we were, I think, pretty much together.
Pretty much. She was,
just
Stinson. Behind. And like seeing you both there, I was actually kind of a little worried for both of you because you were both really focused. And I like, know you and like can say something and normally at least get a smile or something. You're like just game face. And so was she. And I'm like, it's a little early for.
Well, I think with like TNF and the quality of the field, I think you have to just race.
Yeah.
Like, you know, maybe we went out too hot and our finishing times could have been faster if we had held back. But then you never know if someone's going to just go out front and stay out.
There's enough talent that somebody could send it from an early.
And I think like, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Like you shouldn't be turning yourself inside out at that point to stay with the leaders. But if it's comfortable, like you can't let people get too far away at that point, because if you don't see them, then it's also less motivating for you to like try to bridge up and catch them. And then I ran pretty well up Dipsy because I thought that I was climbing better than Addie at that point. And I think I put some time going up Dipsy. I got a pretty good gap because I felt really great going up Dipsy. And then I started the descent, and I think that's when kind of the heat at the top and the humidity started to get to me, and it sounds like everybody else in the field
crazy
suffered.
For the entire race, everybody who's not on those ridges, it's like, this is a cool, perfect morning, but not the case.
The tops, it's humid. It was humid all day, and it was just a little bit deceptive in the fog because the temperature is cooler and you're not in the sun. But once you pop out of the fog, it was actually quite humid, and I was kind of a little bit worried about getting low on electrolytes. And I actually did start cramping. Like this started cramping going up Dipsy, and then this other leg started cramping, and
there's still a long way to go.
And there's still a long way to go, right? But I think I was really proud of myself for not panicking and figuring it out, because, you know, once I went through like what's it called? Where's that aid station? So I think at Cardiac, I was starting to feel like a little bit wonky, and then that long descent into Muir Woods. And then what's the aid station you get to after Cardiac?
You would know far better than I would.
I think it's right at the bottom of the Dipsy, right? There's like there's an aid station there.
Okay. When
you cross Muir Woods Road. And so I ate potatoes with like a handful of salt. I was like, I need salt. And then going up Dynamite, I actually really started cramping. So I walked up Dynamite, and I actually stopped and stretched a little bit at the top. And then I ran down Deer Park Fire Road, and things seemed to be like working themselves out. And so I just knew, okay, every aid station, I need to pound the salt. So that's what I did. Yeah. And it kind of made the cramping go away eventually.
So you start building a lead on Addie.
Yes.
And is there any point in those last 20 miles, let's say, where you were thought you were giving back time to?
Well, it was interesting
to someone
because after Stinson, no one really told me any splits.
Mm-hmm.
So I just was like, I'm just going to keep running. And at that point, you also merge with the 50K runners. So the trail is a bit more crowded, but you also have people to pass at that point. You know,
and that feels good.
There's a lot of carrots on the trail.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than feeling like you're just alone out there. So I just kind of stayed within my effort level that I thought would be sustainable. And I was still feeling pretty good on the climbs and just passing people like 50Kers. But nobody told me any splits until I came down Fox. Like I thought Addie was still right behind me. And then I saw Mario on my way up to the Tennessee Valley aid station. And that's when he told me I had like 8 minutes on coastal. And I thought, okay, well, I still feel pretty good. I'll just keep this effort and just keep moving towards the finish.
And did that work for the rest of the race, more or less?
Yes. So I just focused on like running the rest of the race.
But you could run it. You didn't have to put the hammer down. Like you did right at the red line.
Yeah, I think I didn't feel like I was redlining, and I didn't feel like I could because I was still battling these cramps, especially like my adductors were they would start seizing and I'd be like, oh, back it down, run some more. They'd start seizing, be like, okay, back it down.
Just keeping it on the edge there.
Just keep it, keep from full body spasming until the finish line.
Perfect. And you did. You made it. You won the North Face 50.
Yes.
How does this compare to like, you went to Sonoma or something like that? Is this like maybe your best performance?
I think this is one of the best races that I've executed. I felt really great about my nutritional plan. I think I could have done a little bit better with the electrolytes, but that was kind of hard to predict. And I'm really proud of the fact that I problem solved my way out of a potentially bad cramping situation, and now I know that I can come back from that, and that it's not, the end of your day of like your legs start cramping. Totally. You just have to find a solution. And I think it's certainly the best I've felt in the last 5 miles of a 50 mile.
Nice.
I also saw Rob Krar at Tennessee Valley.
I think this is the part where we hear you pass Rob Krar.
Well, I think he let me pass him going up Marancello, because I was like, oh my God, it's Rob Krar. I got to keep running. Like, I can't hike up Marancello. And then he passed me right before the bridge. And so I was just chasing Rob Krar's shadow across the bridge. I was like,
and so
can't slow down, have to keep up.
Just held on as long as you could?
Yes. Yeah.
And this is the end of your season, I'm assuming?
This is the end of my season. I am going to go Thanksgiving, like as a verb.
Yes. Fully indulge.
Celebrate, exactly.
Nice. Have you started thinking at all about next year?
Next year, I'm really interested in doing CCC. That's the only major thing that's on my calendar. In February, so after this, I'm going to take a few weeks off and then start December ramping up for the marathon trials in Atlanta. So I'll do some marathon training, run the marathon, and then I haven't really thought about what I'm going to do in the spring or summer yet.
Now, one thing you have alluded to is not 100 milers.
No, I'm going to stay away from 100 milers.
Why is that?
I think I'm really good at distances and terrain where I can run. And 100 milers just require different skills. Like it requires a lot of hiking, a lot of eating. It requires being out there for a long time. Honestly, I get kind of bored, and mentally I can't quite stay focused for that long. So I think I will stick to my sweet spot for a while.
Right on. Well, it is. Congratulations on a
Thank
great
you so
race
much,
today.
Brian.
Thank you.
So great to have you out here.